Jim Cramer was recently on national television. He was talking about how he's basically given up on the crypto market. He's saying there's no value there. It's already down to only $1 trillion in total market cap. Why can't it go lower? Here's exactly what Jim was saying.
Look, right now, it looks like that everything's bad. And I'm not going to deny that every asset class is getting hurt. The one I'm most interested in is crypto. Because a lot of people are in crypto, and crypto really does seem to be imploding. But it goes from $3 trillion to $1 trillion. Why should it stop at $1 trillion? There's no real value there. NFTs. I mean, you look at these companies, there's these companies that you never heard of, and they blew up over the weekend. And you just say to yourself, holy cow, there's $600 million just going down the drain. And we had Gary Gensler, the chairman, on a few weeks ago, and he just said, look, anybody who has a come-hither rate of investment, you just, in other words, the rate that you earn, you can kind of forget about them. And that's what's happening.
All right,
how
Jim.
many places can Sam Bankman-Fried save? Melissa, how many can he save?
Now, of course, I love my friend Jim, but I think that he's missing one key thing. Is yes, 99% of the stuff is going to zero. Just like during the tech boom, there's all these great ideas, but majority of the things, they failed. But coming out of that tech boom, we got Amazon, we got Google, and many other great companies. And I think that's exactly what we're going to see play out here. Take Bitcoin as an example. Does Jim Cramer think that Bitcoin's going to zero? I don't think so. I think that Jim may think it may be overvalued, or he may think that it isn't nearly as valuable in the future as some others think. But ultimately, Jim Cramer, he believes in Bitcoin. He doesn't think it's going to zero. Now, the long tail of assets, everything from altcoins to NFTs and much, much more, he probably has a very strong opinion that most of it's worthless, and it is going to zero. And I think if you went and you asked a bunch of people in the Bitcoin and crypto industry, they'd agree with you. They'd say, listen, a lot of that long tail stuff, it was experimentation. It was people trying different things. It was people trying to build all sorts of new ways to do business or new types of technology. And guess what happens with experiments? They usually don't work. And that's exactly what we're going to see play out here. Now, a 99% failure rate when it comes to altcoins and NFTs, etc., that should be the default expectation of people in the market. And so that means that there's increased risk the further you push away from Bitcoin. And people need to be careful. They need to understand what they're doing. But of course, at the exact same time, it doesn't mean that we should write off the entire industry. We shouldn't say just because 99.9% of stuff is going to zero that there's no value. Again, just look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin disproves that thesis. And so what will Bitcoin be worth in the future? I'm not really sure. But I think that more people will find it valuable in 10 years than they do today. And so naturally, if Bitcoin and Bitcoin only didn't fail, the entire crypto industry would be worth it because we would get something with a programmatic monetary policy that ended up surviving. Now, outside of Bitcoin, do other things survive or do they all fail? That's where the market's going to come in, and the market will determine it. Anyone's opinion, mine, yours, or anyone else you hear talking about it, their opinion doesn't matter. The free market will take care of finding where the value is and getting rid of all the things that aren't valuable. We've already seen this start to play out, and it will only continue in the coming years. So Jim Cramer, he didn't believe in Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. He then started to pay attention, got very excited about it. Now he's saying majority of this stuff is valueless. It's all going to zero. I tend to think that Jim is more right than wrong. But I also think that it's hard on national television to state nuanced views. And so if you were to ask him in private, does he believe in Bitcoin? Does he think Bitcoin will go to zero? My guess is that he would say Bitcoin has value. It's not going to zero. And that is where nuance comes into play. Hope this is helpful for all of you. And remember, 99.9% is a lot, but that still means that there are some assets like Bitcoin that will survive.